Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Chock Chapple shares his big lie. The Golden Bachelorette had its first finale on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. There, Joan Vassos made her decision as to who she wanted to spend her life with, and it was Chock Chapple. He ended up popping the question with a gorgeous Neil Lane ring, and as transparent as Chock was this season, he had one big lie. So what did he fib about? Keep reading for all of the details. From the moment that Chock Chapple and Joan Vassos went on their first solo date to Disneyland, it was clear there was chemistry. They clicked and she felt like a princess with him. Then he learned that his mother had passed away and he abruptly left. This was devastating to Joan for more than one reason. First off, her own mom was ill, so she could sympathize with what Chock was going through. Then there was the fact that she connected deeply with him and hated to see him leave. Fortunately for Joan, by the end of that Golden Bachelorette episode, Chock was back for his woman as if nothing had ever happened. Some fans started to feel a possessiveness from Chock and were not as into him as they initially had been. However, he made it to the final three and then Pascal Ivy self-eliminated, so he was in the final two. Joan eliminated Guy Gansert and chose Chock. Now, they are engaged, but has he been hiding something from his close friends? According to People, Chock Chapple had to come up with a lie so he and Joan could meet in California after they got engaged. Obviously, they had to keep it a secret from most of the world, but friends are not privy to this information. The family obviously knows. You can't keep that from your kids, but not telling your friends, it's very tough. We were traveling a lot to the happy couples' homes in California, so they kind of know what's going on, but you can't say it. Therefore, Chock came up with a very creative and interesting lie to justify his extensive travel schedule. I told them I was an underwear model and I was going to LA to do numerous shoots. They wanted a guy my size, and I just kept getting more popular and popular. No, he is not an underwear model, but Chock Chapple is a reality star thanks to the Golden Bachelorette. He became the first winner of this franchise, and they are now casting for the Golden Bachelor. As for California, there will be no more rendezvous on the West Coast. Chock is based in Kansas as an insurance executive, whereas Joan Vassos lives in Maryland. So they have decided to get a place in New York City where they can meet up, per Chock. We're going to be going back and forth between Kansas to Maryland and to New York. We'll have a full-time place in New York, and whenever we get the opportunity, we're going to be there. We're going to get it figured out this next year. They will spend the holidays as a complete family in Maryland, and the rest will come in time. Do you think that this relationship has promise? More so, can you see Chock as an underwear model, or should he have come up with a better cover story? Let us know in the comments below. The gleaming spotlight bathed Chock Chapple in a golden halo as he stood in the opulent living room of the mansion, where Golden Bachelorette was filmed. The room smelled of fresh roses and citrus, a concoction meant to soothe the nerves of the bachelorettes vying for his affection. For weeks, Chock had played the part of the ultimate gentleman, his salt and pepper hair and easy laugh winning over not just the contestants, but also the millions watching at home. But behind his charismatic demeanor lay a secret, a big one. Chock, dressed impeccably in a tailored navy suit and brown Oxfords, leaned against the grand piano, fingers grazing the polished keys. Tonight was the night he had to tell the truth. He couldn't keep it bottled up any longer, not as the show reached its crescendo with only 3 women left in the competition. Diane, an elegant divorcee with a penchant for adventure. Loretta, the effervescent retired teacher whose smile could light up a room. And Tamara, a no-nonsense businesswoman with a sharp wit. The camera crew adjusted their equipment, and the producer gave him a nod. This wasn't planned, but Chock had insisted. Roll the cameras, he'd said earlier that day. The audience deserves to know the real me. Ladies, Chock began, his deep baritone voice filling the room. Diane, Loretta, and Tamara, seated on plush velvet chairs, exchanged curious glances. I've carried something with me throughout this journey, and it's time I come clean. The women leaned forward in anticipation, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. I'm not who you think I am, he admitted, the words cutting through the room's serene ambience. I have been lying about my life. Gasps echoed in the room. Loretta clutched her pearls, her mouth agape. Tamara crossed her arms, her brows furrowing in skepticism. Diane simply tilted her head, her eyes narrowing as if trying to decipher his words before he could say them. I told you I was a retired CEO, Chock continued, his voice wavering for the first time. That I sold my tech company and now spend my days mentoring young entrepreneurs. That's not true. The room fell eerily silent, save for the faint hum of the cameras. Then what is true? Tamara demanded, her tone sharp but laced with genuine curiosity. Chock took a deep breath, his gaze flitting between the three women. I worked in tech, yes, but I wasn't a CDO. I wasn't even a manager. I was a customer support representative. Loretta blinked, visibly stunned. You mean, like the person we call when we can't reset our passwords? Exactly, Chock admitted with a sheepish smile. For over 25 years, I loved my job, but it wasn't glamorous. I made a modest living, enough to get by, but nothing close to the life I've described here. Diane, who had remained silent, finally spoke. Why lie about it? Why not just be honest? Chock's shoulders slumped as he leaned back against the piano, the weight of his deception visibly pressing down on him. Because I was afraid. When I was approached to be on this show, the producers made it clear they were looking for someone aspirational. They wanted a story, one that could captivate an audience, and I was terrified that the real me wasn't enough. Tamara's eyes softened slightly, though her arms remained crossed. So what now? Are you saying everything about you is a fabrication? No, Chock said firmly. My feelings for each of you are real. The connections we've built, those are genuine. But I knew I couldn't move forward without telling you the truth. I don't have a mansion. I don't have a yacht. I live in a modest apartment and drive a used car. And I spend most of my free time volunteering at the local animal shelter. Loretta smiled faintly. Well, that part doesn't sound so bad. Diane let out a soft chuckle, breaking the tension. Chock, if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's that everyone has baggage. Some of us have been divorced. Some of us have faced illnesses, lost loved ones, or made mistakes we're not proud of. Your lie doesn't define you. It's what you do next that matters. Chock looked at her, his expression a mixture of relief and gratitude. Thank you, Diane. Tamara, ever the pragmatist, leaned forward. But this changes things, Chock. For all of us, trust is the foundation of any relationship, and you've just admitted to breaking that trust. I understand, Chock said, his voice steady now, and I won't ask for your forgiveness. I only hope you'll see that my decision to tell you now, rather than let the lie fester, comes from a place of respect. The producer signaled for a cut, but the women waved him off. They weren't done yet. Loretta reached over to place a hand on Chock's. I believe you, she said softly, and I appreciate your honesty. Diane nodded. Same here, but like Tamara said, it's going to take time to rebuild that trust. Tamara exhaled, her posture relaxing slightly. You've got guts, I'll give you that. But don't think for a second that I'm letting you off the hook. Chock smiled, his eyes glistening. I wouldn't expect anything less. As the night wore on, the conversation shifted to lighter topics, the air in the room slowly warming again. Chock knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in weeks, he felt unburdened. He wasn't the perfect bachelor the show had portrayed him to be, but he was finally himself. And for Chock Chapple, that was enough.